Hello, everyone. My name is Mishal Musleh, and I'm going to present our work, Coclean, a collaborative data cleaning framework. This work was done while I was interning at Qatar Computing Research Institute, QCRI, with the supervision of Murad Ozani and Nan Tang, and collaboration with Ann Hai from University of Wisconsin. So let's get started. At the beginning, let's understand what is the problem. So we have Bob, who is a data scientist and is working on a diabetes data set. He is developing a prediction model and therefore is using a variety of tools such as Python, Pandas data frame, Jupyter Notebooks, and many other tools that are commonly used in practice by data scientists. So he has his working environment and workflow. However, he is always getting bad results. He then realizes that the data set is dirty. For example, maybe it has a lot of missing data, and therefore it has to be cleaned first. He looks into the data set, but realizes that he needs help from people who are familiar with such data, i.e. domain experts. And perhaps he needs help of more than one person, either because each one of them may know part of the data, or that getting help from multiple people can expedite the process. So Bob stops his workflow, leaves his working environment, and tries to find ways to get the help of domain experts. He may export the data, send it via an email, or upload it to a Google Sheet and share it, then wait for the collaborators to finish, download it and import it back, or maybe share it again with some other domain experts. It turns out that this is a common case, and many data scientists struggle to collaborate and get help from domain experts who are familiar with the data. Let's have a look at the existing solution. We have online sheets such as Google Sheets and other similar products, and we have OpenRefine software data cleaning and many similar other products. All of them have one or more of the following issues. First, they have high human cost. That means data scientists need to upload the data sets to some other platform, wait for collaborators, download it again, and import it back to their working environment. Not mentioning that maybe another round of getting help from domain expert is needed, so this will happen more and more. Second, some solutions allow only one user, in fact, at a time to work on the data sets, such as OpenRefine. So there is no notion of multiple people working at the same time. And the other solutions, multiple users will overwrite each other, such as Google Sheets, where you can only see the latest value and you cannot build based on the feedback from each user. And all existing solutions are actually not integrated with the data science environment and tools that are commonly used in practice, such as Jupyter Notebooks and Pandas data frame. So this leads us to the next question. What is the ideal solution? What does it look like? The first thing, that it needs to support multiple users. They have to be able to work collaboratively working on the data sets. This means the ability to have multiple feedback from different collaborators, the ability to consolidate the results. In addition, domain experts either can write code, we call them power users, or need to work through some sort of graphical user interface, and we call them lay users. The ideal solution should support both of them. Second thing, that it needs to be integrated with existing data science workflow used in practice, such as Pandas data frames and Jupyter Notebooks. And it has to have a minimal human cost, since this can be an iterative process. We propose a crowd-in-the-loop approach. We propose Coclean, a collaborative data cleaning framework where multiple data scientists and domain experts can collaborate together on cleaning tasks. The core of Coclean is a new Python library called Collaborative Data Frames, CDF, which is compatible with Pandas data frames and therefore is compatible with all existing tools currently used in practice that utilizes Pandas data frames. Coclean is also integrated with Jupyter and comes with a graphical user interface. This supports both power and lay users. Coclean provides also more productivity by allowing a side-by-side view for Jupyter Lab users, where they can have live view of their datasets while continuously working on their workflow. Coclean provides all of these features and much more that we are going to demonstrate next. Here is the Jupyter notebook that Bob is working on. Bob is using Pandas library here to read CSV datasets and construct a data frame. Next, Bob is developing and evaluating his prediction model. This can be anything here. For brevity, we'll assume Bob has tried and evaluated different models, and all models were not performing well. And that's when he started realizing that the data set might be dirty and need to be cleaned. Here, Bob started looking into the data set. He is inspecting the values of a column called body mass index. And he immediately realizes that there are certain number of rows that has the value 0 as the body mass index. And by common sense, he realizes that these must be missing values because the body mass index cannot be 0. However, he has no idea how to fix them or what appropriate values should be used instead. At this moment, Bob realizes that he needs help from people who are familiar with this dataset, i.e. domain experts. Bob knows two such persons. One of them is actually a power user that can write codes, and the other is a lay user that can only work through a graphical user interface. Luckily, Bob knows about our framework, Coclean. He immediately thinks that using collaborative data frame will facilitate this process, and it will allow the three of them to easily collaborate together and work on the loop. So next, Bob imports the collaborative data frame library, CDF, and execute this single line to make his data frame a collaborative one. And that's it. Let's see how the DF looks like now. Next thing, Bob will share this data frame so other collaborators can work on it by a single and very easy command, df.share. It will return a unique URL that he will give to his two other collaborators. So let's go now and see what can the domain experts do with this URL. Let's assume Mashal is the first domain expert and is a power user that can write code using Jupyter Lab. Note that they can be anywhere on Earth. And let's assume this is the notebook they are working on. So now all they need is to import the collaborative data frame library, CDF, and simply construct a data frame from the URL. And that's it. And CDF will take care of orchestrating all of this, getting all the feedback from users, send it back to the owner, etc. All the CDFs or the collaborative data frames comes with this nice user interface embedded inside the notebook where you can inspect and update the values directly. Coclean also provides this overleaf style or the side-by-side view, one for writing code and continuously working on a certain workflow, and one for a continuous live view of the data set. So let's see the missing values here. So this is the body mass index column, and here is one of the zeros. The domain experts can either fix it directly here or execute some logic via code. In addition, the collaborative data frame is actually compatible with Pandas data frame, meaning all standard Pandas API are actually supported and you can use CDF as any other data frame. For example, to find the value of the first row, 0, and the age column, we can use the standard lock API to address cells. To modify a particular cell, the age, in this case, we can just do the standard assignment and it will be updated. We can also do batch operations. For example, here we can increase all the ages by 1. We can use CDF to train models. Basically, we can use CDF exactly as any other Pandas data frame. On top of this, CDF has additional APIs. For example, users can see all of their updates by calling list my updates. Once we are done, we can hit or execute commit. Now, let's see the second domain expert, Nan. Let's assume he is a lay user and need to work through a graphical user interface. Luckily, Coclean provides a graphical user interface, and Nan can use the very same URL in the browser to access the same dataset online. They can easily click and update values. So those cells flagged in red are the ones that has been updated by other collaborators. If we do a right click, we'll see that the other collaborator has suggested the value of 15. Now let's go back to Bob in the same notebook he was working on. We can see the feedback sent from other users. We still have the same values. However, they are flagged in red which means that they have been updated by others. By doing a right click, we can see the suggested values from other users. We still have the same zeros. They haven't been changed yet. However, Bob can now see individual updates from each user. For example, here we can see all the updates from the user Mishal. Coclean provides a resolution mechanism through a policy provided by the user. A policy defines how to resolve the dataset through a simple predicates. For example, here we have a simple policy that if there is at least one feedback, then it takes the majority vote. Let's consolidate this dataset and plot it again. Now we can see there are no zero values for this particular column. Now the data has been cleaned and Bob can continue working on his prediction model. Also, Coclean can utilize the automated tools for detecting errors. For example, here is a tool called Fahas that can automatically detect certain types of missing values. Coclean can utilize such automated tools as a hint or indicator to which cells need attention. Let's use Fahas here. Here, all the cells in yellow are the ones identified by the tool, so collaborators from domain experts can inspect them. Also, Coclean supports two modes of collaboration. The data owner has the ability to control whether the blind feature is on or off, meaning whether collaborator can see feedback from each other or not. This can help avoid bias in the cleaning process. Thank you very much for listening and for your interest in our framework, Coclean. We will be happy to answer all of your questions through the communication channels.